comfortable in your discomfort? Well, let's face it, most people don't want to change. Seriously, I see this virtually every day in my coaching business. A potential client will want to share their story as to why they are the way they are, why their life is the way it is, who's to blame, what happened, etc., etc. Now, as a human being, I get it. I get the story. I get why someone is looking for sympathy or acknowledgement or confirmation as to what happened to them, and that it was terrible, and it explains why they are the way they are. The thing is, when a potential client comes to me, they're not looking for a sympathetic friend. They've got those. They're actually looking for someone who can help them. They're looking for a coach. And as a coach, the story actually isn't relevant. Yes, it provides some background and the context, but we don't focus our energies there. And in fact, when someone is stuck in their story, it tells me that they're not ready for coaching. Coaching is for people who no longer want to be defined by their story. They want to leave that story in the past where it belongs, because they recognize that the story has no place in their life. It's actually holding them back, keeping them stuck in a misery that happened sometime in the past. It's not happening now. It has no place in the now. It has no place in their future. They want to move past it. That's why they come to a coach. It's someone who will help keep them from dwelling in the past, mulling around in the past. And it'll be someone who provides them with the structure to create something different going forward, something different for their life. So why is it that people are so resistant to letting go of and moving on from these past events, the people, the situations? Yeah, one reason might be that they don't know how to move past it, and that's where coaching can definitely help. However, another reason is that the impact of those past events, those people, those situations, well, the impact isn't bad enough. Now, they'll insist that it is. They will say, no, this is really bad, it's really affecting me. And they genuinely want the pain to go away. But when it comes down to it, they are just too comfortable with how they are living with the story, the blame, the excuses. They've repeated to themselves so often already that it's become part of their identity. It's what they know. And that discomfort is now what they're comfortable with. Now, there's a quote by Reverend Michael Beckwith that I share in my webinars and in my workshops. And he says, "We are pushed by pain until we are pulled by a vision." Now, that quote captures the two driving forces behind why someone will want to create change in their life. It's either pain or it's a vision for something that they would love. Now, you can skip the pain part, because yes, there are some people who, well, from the get-go, will have a compelling vision. It's compelling enough to propel them into action. But for most of us, and more common than not, is that it all begins with the pain. It's people will start taking action when the pain of the status quo is intense enough. And if the pain isn't intense enough, then they're not going to be propelled into changing anything. The thing to be aware of is that the pull of what is familiar, it's very strong. It's a very strong force, even when what's familiar causes us discomfort. But when we stick to what's familiar and we stick to it for long enough, when we stick to that discomfort for long enough, then we get comfortable with the discomfort, and that can keep us stuck. So think about what you've been unhappy with in your life, particularly if you know you've been putting up with that discomfort for a long time. Have you got some story that goes along with that discomfort? Have you become too comfortable in your discomfort? I'll catch you next time.